Hey there, neighbors and naysayers. April 13th, 2026. I don't know how many days we've been out now with the sheep, but we're already at the point that the paddocks built ahead are too big and they're not grazing enough. So they just moved into this field, and I'll go down and show what they just came out of. Kind of doing diversity checks at this point. I mean, always diversity checks. Almost give this field a failing grade, and it's not for lack of trying. We put a whole bunch of seed in here, but not this year, but in the past years when we've grazed it hard. There's a plantain, there's some clover. We're still probably less than 5% legumes, and probably in that 5 to 10% forbs, and we want to be more than that. So thought for today, I guess, if you can see that post down there, that's the field they just come out of. If you think there's a sheep hung up on that limb, it's not. It's the cape off of her back already coming off. We're building good bird's nests around here. So this time of year I like to diversity check, and I always, it's really too early for the clover yet to really be something, but we really have to work hard at setting this fescue back, and it's a tough challenge right now, because you're trying to rotate, but yet you're trying to let it go. And I'm open to new ideas here, because I know the dairy guys typically, and you wonder why the sheep are all bunched up, because I just gave them salt. I missed the salt tub a couple days, and so they come on to salt. I think the dairy guys, some of them dairy grazing guys always talk about grazing tighter than what we recommend, and that I honestly think this time of year it's probably not a bad thing. The problem is it's going to get so far ahead of you, way out farther, that you're not going to keep up. And so you got to pick and choose which fields you're going to do that on in order to let the legumes release a little bit more. I don't know what the answer is. I know the answer lies here in the 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks before grazing, and the 2, 3, 4 weeks after grazing. I know I was across this field the other day putting fence in, and I didn't see much clover, and today I see more than I have. Of course, I am also walking and not on the four-wheeler, but it's just something we constantly have to fight, is getting diversity in here, not only for our soil health, but also just for our animal health, because so much of it's fescue. Now, I'm seeing a bunch of orchard grass here, but still less than of the grasses that are 80 to 90%, probably less than 20% of that is orchard grass, and another 10 maybe in blue. So we got a long way to go in order to get there, but that's what we're trying. We're always trying to make things a little more diverse. We got and I should have went over there and showed that, but we're gonna seed a field here once the cows go off of it. We just moved them into their last strip of bale grazing. I know it's the experiment screwed up, so our thought was the last 2-3 weeks of bale grazing, fence them tight in an area, a 5-acre area, let them graze the crap out of it, and be able to seed in it. And what I'm already seeing is the part that was grazed before the grass started growing is going to be the area that we need to do that in. So if we do this experiment, we're going to have to do it again next year, because we're going to have to, right before, let's say, the last 2 weeks in March, that's going to be the area we're going to seed. Last 3 weeks in March, maybe the whole month of March. Those are the areas we're going to be able to seed, because the stockpile's all dead and new grass hasn't started growing yet. So they eat it all, clean it all off, and then we can seed it. I can already tell what we basically saved the best stockpile for last, and that allowed it to grow earlier, grow faster, grow heavier, and there's no way the cows are going to get ahead of it enough to be able to seed it and get a good experiment on it. We're going to get some, but boy, as I'm looking down now and really looking into the sward here, there's a bunch of baby clover in there. Hopefully, the other thing we kill ourselves with here is the sheep, because they're so selective. With the cows, they'll go along here, and if they're wanting to eat clover, they'll eat clover, but they'll eat enough of the grass around it to hurt it, and then that'll allow the clover to release. The sheep are so selective, they can go in there and pick that clover plant right out of the middle and not graze the orchard grass. So we try to graze a fescue. We try to graze a little bit harder with the sheep in order to release everything. That's the hope. and give that clover a chance. It's tougher with sheep really to manage this time of year, just to get it to release and actually have some grass, so or have some clover come back. So anyway, while we're at that, I guess the new theme for this year is Y grazing, and we're going to talk about that at our pasture walk next Thursday at the Klein Farm up in Richmond, Ohio, 6:30. I'll be watching the website. I think it's already posted. We'd love to have you there. I need to drop that on some other things because the RSVP date's coming up. So why grazing? And I want to know why do we choose, or why are we interested in grazing? And you know, how can you beat a 80-degree day in April out here with sheep on pasture instead of still being locked in a dry lot? That's one why for today. The other why is I don't have any mud. Of course, it's been pretty dry here, but I don't have any mud at all whatsoever. So doing that is a part of it too. And then looking for this diversity. I guess I was only going to do one why, but the other is looking for the diversity and finding it. We spent yesterday planting sorghum sudan and a whole diverse mix of things: Illinois bundle flower and purple prairie clover and sun hemp and lespedeza and all kinds of other things that go with what we planted there 2 weeks ago, just to see what kind of diversity we could get on the areas that we grazed, or we fed hay as a sacrifice area in the drought. So having that diversity and seeing that diversity is what we're looking for. So with that, I'll say we'll see you next time.